Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to share some thoughts and theories I have about the Blacklist Season 8. Obviously, this means talking about spoilers that went down in Season 7, so if you're not completely caught up with the Blacklist, do not watch this video. We'll spoil stuff for you. But nevertheless, obviously where the season finale ended, obviously it's not 100% the season finale they wanted, but obviously, like, you know, because of everything going down, the season had to end where it was. What's interesting, though, is now we see that, you know, Liz has chosen her mom's side. And it's so interesting because that conversation came up in the comments of my review of the season finale. Like, why would Liz choose her mom's side considering everything her mom's done? It's like, well, yes, that's true. Sure, her mom has done all this and that, but I said that it was only for the sake of survival. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, she's in this position because of her dad and Reddington and Ilya put her in this position. Because, I mean, to be fair, her dad and Ilya betrayed her in the first place. They put her in this situation, and the fact is Reddington has the means to save her but continues not to. So for her, you know, it's a situation where it's like, especially for Liz, and she even talked about it, she's lost a lot because of Reddington. Reddington's, like, him being in her life, she's talked about the good that's come with it, but there's actually been a lot of bad too. She lost Tom. Her daughter is going to grow up never really knowing her father. Lost Mr. Kaplan. Mr. Kaplan died because she helped Liz, you know, fake her death and everything, you know, and for Reddington, that was a betrayal. And obviously it went further when Mr. Kaplan tried to, like, dismantle his organization, giving Tom the bones and everything. So it's like, my secrets were meant to stay buried for a reason. And I think in the grand scheme of things, I can get where Reddington's coming from even more so, because it's like, his secrets are kept for a particular reason. Like, Liz in her mind is just like, wait, you had the means to save my mom, but you're choosing not to. So the fact is, you know, for one, despite all that she's done, this is her mom, you know, a mom she's never really gotten to know. She's always heard about other people here and there say this and that about her mom, but this is her mom. Like, she's right here in front of me. I have the opportunity to help her in whatever form I can. Because she knows if she sides with Reddington, she's signing her mom's death warrant. Like, because Reddington's going to put a bullet in her mom. So it's that type of situation. I mean, he was going to anyway. Granted, he has reluctancy about it. He doesn't want to do that. If she probably never popped back into Liz's life and didn't create the situation, he wouldn't. But for Liz, it's like, I'm going to deceive Reddington as much as I can, because, like, the fact is, what has Reddington always done? He's always lied to me. He's always going to say he told her the truth. Granted, he's never, like, always fully told her the truth, but he's like, I've never lied to you, you know, because Dom's the one that created the story of, like, oh, that Reddington's actually Ilya, when in actuality he wasn't. I mean, so it's a complicated situation, because it means for Liz turning up her back on everything, because it's like turning her back, you know, because I'm sure, like, she's willing to cross whatever lines if it means protecting her mom, you know. So for her, it's like a situation that I'm not on the wrong side of things, I'm on the right side of things. Like, this is my mom, I'm trying to save her life. Like, I don't think she doesn't want to kill Reddington, but she is kind of giving in more to her darker instincts. I mean, we've definitely seen that over the course of the series, and the entire time we've always thought it was like, oh, maybe it's because of Reddington that she has this darker side. Like, he kind of fed that darker side of her. Maybe that darker side was always there, considering who her mom is. Like, you know, maybe that darkness has always been there, just considering everything that's happened over the course of her life, her complicated upbringing and everything. So of course she wouldn't. She has darkness, but Reddington being there in her life, you know, it's so complicated because. And I like this aspect. I know people might have their issues with it, but I like the constant flipping back and forth, because Liz is so torn between who she is, like who she's supposed to be, who she is, this FBI agent who's also the daughter of this criminal, considering Reddington's willing to leave his entire organization to her. Because he said the dark path she's going down, she's going to be going down a dark path, and she's going to need it. So I think when it's all said and done, Liz, she's going to have to choose one or the other. I don't think this middling road she's been on, being an FBI agent while having this dark path, I don't think she's going to be able to keep that up forever. Eventually, she's going to have to fully choose a side. And I think when it's all said and done, she's going to end up down the criminal route, I think she might become the next Reddington. That's kind of where I'm thinking they've definitely been edging to set that up, but I think, like, there's going to be, like, some criminal balance that has to be kept in the world. Like, it's kind of like, if you're not that person filling that vacuum that is Reddington's role in all of that, the billions that he has invested in just everything, money that he just has in itself, like, if no one takes up that role, someone worse. So you kind of have to be there to kind of act as, like, the criminal world's checks and balances to a certain extent. And I think a lot of that has to relate to Reddington and Katarina's situation, because Katarina's, like, apparently there's that I'm blanking on the term, but it's basically a an archive or whatever that has, like, all these like dirty secrets, and Katarina is believed to have it. The question is like, why would someone believe that she has it? Because it's like a rumor that she has it. That's why she has a target on her head. So it's like either that's something that Dom and Ilya and Reddington started, or maybe just Dom and Ilya and just Reddington just kind of went along with it, because it's like Reddington knows who actually has it. Is it that Reddington has it, or is it a situation of he just knows who has it? That begs, the biggest question. Because also the big question too is we still don't know is who the hell is Reddington? Because obviously he's not Raymond Reddington and he's not Ilya, so who the hell is he? And why would he be so invested in all of this, go through so much to protect Liz? Once again, obviously it's a situation that obviously he cares very deeply for her, whether or not that's his, like it started as a promise and an obligation, but beyond that it became a situation of I just care for this little girl. She's become just as much mine as she is anyone else's, so that's why he's sticking around, why he's always going. Despite the, like, because Liz is literally the only person Reddington has let betrayed him over and over again, to the point that he's just kind of like, yes, he doesn't deal with betrayal well, because even the whole Dembe thing kind of rubbed him the wrong way. He gets it, but at the end of the day, it's a situation of like, hey, there's no such thing as having no choice. Everyone has a choice, but Dembe's imam was like, no, like Dembe didn't have a choice. He's even saying like, even I don't have a choice, and like, the situation of like me not telling, the FBI like who took me and everything, so everyone's kind of got, was it like, I think he said everyone's got their jihad, their struggle of, and even Reddington constantly has his. He's at war with so much. I mean, hell, he's dying from whatever it is, which makes the whole Liz choosing her mom thing, even more complicated. It's like, oh, Reddington's dying, but to be fair, she doesn't want him dead. I think she wants to keep that perfect balance, but it's still a thing of you're gonna have to choose a side. Who says? I mean, maybe at the end of the day, Katarina has no intentions of killing Reddington. You kind of feel like she kind of does, because she came close to just to be able to get whatever information she could out of him. So obviously he wants her dead, so it's like it's gonna be interesting to see how Liz kind of plays that cat and mouse game next season, kind of playing both sides, or more so Reddington, because Reddington thinks, oh, Liz chose my side, and I've said this time and time again, Liz will always be Reddington's blind spot. He will, just because he gives her chance after chance, even though she has done what she's done in the past, he's always kind of forgiven her, because it's almost like what father wouldn't forgive his daughter no matter what, like I said, might not be his daughter, but he still treats her like one, so it's a complicated thing. And it's also something I've talked about too, because I thought it was interesting, because like I said in that episode, about Wrestler and his brother, like Liz said that basically she's always struggled with the darkness, but Wrestler is that person who always kind of helped pull her back. And my big question is, going forward, will Wrestler be enough to pull her completely from the darkness? Will Aram or Cooper be able to as well? Especially because Cooper kind of sees Liz for kind of who she is, that darkness in her. He still keeps her around but I think even his like fealty to her is still strong, but I still feel like it has waned, because he feels like her obligations have kind of leaned more towards her own or darker side. But I don't know. It's an interesting thing. Especially because Park obviously has her own darkness she has to deal with, so that's going to be interesting with both of them, because like Park is all about just kind of being like very like, she's very like almost like straight and narrow and kind of by the book, kind of like Wrestler is, but at the same time it's like, especially with like what Reddington did for her this season, kind of bringing her the guy who sold her mom the drugs, that ended up ultimately killing her, and so it's just an interesting thing. I'm curious to kind of get more time with Park to kind of see where her story ultimately ends up going. And I'm also curious, is there going to be anything more with Aram and the whole Elodie situation? Because we never 100%, I mean, we saw that kind of reach its conclusion, but is that the full conclusion? Or will there be more of that he has to kind of deal with, the aftermath of that potentially in season 8, I think would be kind of an interesting thing. And since I also brought him up earlier too, it's like Dembe. Like, Dembe was put in a situation like, well, who do you choose? Like, because his mom told him like, hey, I don't envy you. You're literally, you choosing to keep Reddington's secrets means the end of my life, but you choosing to save my life means the end of someone else's life, and that's, Reddington's. Because despite, like, Dembe not saying anything, he was going to. So that complicates their relationship, because now it's like, if he's ever put in that situation again, like, Reddington's like, would he be able to keep the secret? I don't know. It's like, it's just, Dembe's always been his confidant and been by his side for so long, so that history that they have. So for him to be in that situation, it's just, you know, he's been in a situation where he didn't trust Dembe before, but it turned out to be like, oh, no, that wasn't Dembe. Obviously, it was Mr. Kaplan that was the traitor and all that, you know, because Mr. Kaplan was still alive. So there's that whole, you know, situation to it. Obviously, these are just my thoughts. I'd love to get to know yours in the comments down below. Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? What are some things you want to see in Season 8? What some things you expect to see in Season 8? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.